really trying to get behind this driver
Okay.
here.
Let's
hoping,
go.
I'm
This has
sure,
been
that
going on for a
they'll be
really
getting up
long time now.
sometime soon,
So
because
this chase has
is
been going for like
very
probably at least an
slow this
hour.
I can't make
And
it out there, but it looks like maybe
I believe they've run over
that
spike
isn't a
strips
license
already.
plate.
Like
I
this,
could
a
be
lot has
wrong
happened here.
but it's not giving.
They got the whole highway shut down.
Take a look. Okay, it looks like maybe it's. You can't make it out. It's hard to tell. Maybe it's one of those specialized license plates.
Right.
See, they've already like
Make
lost
out
the
right over
tire.
there.
Like they can't even
But
drive
yeah, this
fast
car,
now.
Gio, going
So
incredibly slow. It looks like it's a
we'll see
convertible there. Am I right on that?
It does
how
look
this
like,
ends, but it's
like
been
a
going like
convertible, and
this
just
for
within
quite a
frame
while
of the
now.
screen, you'll
So
notice, the amount of CHP vehicles.
yeah, it's been like
pursuing
5 to
them
10
and
miles an
sort of
hour
that
for
back end,
got like 20
forming
minutes.
a line essentially. And
Mustang, yeah, it
leading
looks like
back
it. What's
even
up,
more
Vic and
so
Lady
to
Stiletto and
another
MK
area,
and RZ?
holding back traffic. So you see that despite that it's just one very slow.
It's been a long-ass
seemingly
chase. I've been
easy,
listening to the
simple
scanner,
pursuit, it is affecting
listening to
on
it
a
for the
multitude
last
of levels. A lot of
20
different
minutes.
people, particularly
Waiting
those
for
who
it,
are
like
trying to get
the
something.
news took
And right there,
forever
you
to
see
get
the
there.
exit. It looks
Jimmy,
like
what's
you're
up?
well on your way to
Seriously,
getting
they
to
took
404
forever.
southbound.
Yeah, that's where this is now going to lead here.
Nashby, what's up?
But yeah, it's interesting to see just how many CHP patrol cars there are. They have completely blocked off the southbound
smoke weed every
lanes of
day.
the 405. It looks like at
Last
this
20
point,
minutes.
some of
No,
those
Vic,
CHP
it
cars
hasn't been
take
on
it to the
TV.
left,
They
riding
just went
right
live on
next
TV. I've been
to-
listening to a
Oh,
scanner.
no. now we're to the actual vehicle there. It's hard to see here because there's so many different formations
Right.
of CHP.
As soon as they went live,
patrol
I went
cars,
live,
But it
but,
looks like these
yeah.
cars here are leading, and they're.
Shy Girl
just on
Kim,
the
what's up?
hill as that car
Yo, Bendo,
continues
all
to
right.
move with
This is a
possible
kidnapping suspect. Apparently they
inside.
kidnapped somebody. This has been like a thing going on
Reasons why
all
you wouldn't
day,
see,
apparently.
Perhaps another spike strip. or
Not the
maybe a
chase,
big
but just
maneuver,
the
maybe
whole
waiting it out to
incident
see
with
for
this
that car
person.
To sort of give out in order to give this pursuit an end. But
Clear Joker,
right
what's up?
now, that all we can do is wait, given the fact that that car, and you obviously want to play it safe if there is a
Yeah, dog's going so
kidnapping
slow,
in
dude. It's
progress
been like
right
this,
now. You have
apparently.
to
I've been listening to this
somebody
freaking
else
scanner.
involved
It's been
in this
going
as
5 to
well.
10 miles an hour
But
forever.
at the
We
moment,
And yeah, there's
you
so
know,
many
We
cop
don't know
cars.
those details
You're
right
right.
now.
Call me, what's
we
up?
don't know who is inside that vehicle. If
They got the
someone
freaking
may be
highway
in
shut down.
danger. But you can see
I don't
that
even know how fast the
CHP
car
is
can go right now.
being
At one
aggressive
point,
in
it sped
trying
up.
to
It was
get
going
this
fast as fuck,
pursuit to
but
come to a stop, to get
that didn't
that
last long.
suspect
They were
out.
throwing spike
It's
strips out. Like
definitely not
they've
something
hit
that they
at least
would
one
give
spike
up
strip
on, especially given that
and
we know
tried
spike
others.
strips
The
were
car,
already
yeah,
deployed.
John,
The
it is.
vehicle
Yo,
is
Death,
continuing
welcome.
to
Thank
drive
you.
without at least what we believe is that front driver.
Did they say he's
side
armed?
tire. It
I
looks
forget.
Like that is completely gone at this point.
Death, I appreciate it.
But it's always so just mind-blowing that these vehicles can continue to move with one less tire.
And honestly, there's no other thought in terms of what more can be done at the
Hey,
moment,
Jody, what's up?
especially
Why don't they
considering
just pit? Well,
there's
he's going
that
too
second
slow
line
now, El
right there
Homer.
of
You can't pit a car
CHP,
going this fast.
Vehicles right there. You count 5 on your
There's no way it
screen, and
works.
there's those in front, and then even more so behind on top of it.
Yeah, I think it's a Mustang.
Just dealing with traffic on a Saturday night, and then
Jenny, what's up?
you're wondering what the next step is going to be as this car.
Welcome.
Every time it makes a movement, you wonder if it's finally going to pull off to the side, or if it's going to take an exit, or if it's or if the driver's finally going to realize that there's really not much else that he or
XP,
she
what's
can
up?
do in this situation, given the fact that they are, for lack of a better word, cornered. There is no other direction really to go. There's no escaping this scenario. We've often caught ourselves in multiple pursuits where
Looks like it's speeding up a little bit.
yeah, just a tad, and where
Yeah,
you
they just
see
blocked the whole
vehicles
freeway.
try and maneuver endlessly. 25,
All the
40
on-ramps
miles
are
per hour
blocked and
through a
shit.
particular neighborhood that the
They got
person's
plenty of
familiar
time.
with,
Whimsical,
but
what's up?
Am I correct to say no? It looked like that driver
moment.
side door opened, but I think we're
Yeah, at
just,
one point the person was
we're
like
just
opening up the
noticing it
driver's
as
side
it
door, and I
turns,
thought
maybe
that
the
it was going to be
vehicle.
over.
But you could see
Lost
the
one tire.
wobble
Yeah, it's the front,
it is,
at least
right?
one.
It's
The front
maneuvering right
driver's
now,
side
especially
is
towards
gone
the
or
front.
fucked up. Charles,
outside
what's
of
up?
any other, it doesn't look, at least from our perspective, and granted it is dark, so
You
it's hard
can,
to
I mean,
see,
you
but
can
it
see
doesn't
how
look
that
like
one
it's
is
just
really
up on
screwed.
tire,
They're
no
all flat,
damage
I
that
think.
you can quite make out, but just the way as it looks like we're coming underneath an overpass here briefly, so we'll wait for the vehicle to come out the other end. But to wrap up the earlier point is that in other cases you see, especially when we have pursuits on the freeway where you're going at exceedingly high speeds, and the concern there is ramming into somebody else or crashing.
Yeah, way
It's
too slow. What's up,
causing
Charles?
A mess of a scene and a
How
danger
are
to so
you?
many other people. Whereas in this particular case, the dynamics have changed to the point where here, this is the wide scope of it all. And
CHP has completely shut
Right.
down.
Guys, for
what
anybody
looks
just
to
getting here,
be
this
a
chase has
good
been going on
portion of that
forever.
605
All right, for
south
probably like an hour at
405
least. It's been
south
going on for a
interchange
long,
there.
long time.
It looks
So
like they pushed
I'm sure it was
traffic
much more
back
interesting an
quite
hour
a bit
ago.
now as-
Unfortunately,
as
like
the
NBC was going
vehicle
to it, they
continues
stopped.
to
And then
chug
CBS,
along
KCAL,
here.
whatever,
But the good thing here, Gio,
they
is that
got there.
This is happening
And
on
it
our
took 'em
freeways,
forever to
which
go
means it's
live
all
with the
CHP
video.
jurisdiction, which
So
means
I've been sitting here a little
that
frustrated,
sergeant that's
sorry.
leading this
I know I'm
pursuit
ranting a
is
bit.
able to
Been a little
talk to,
irritated that I sat
you know,
here.
the sergeant. That
I
maybe
kind of
in
wanted to do the dark
405
side thing tonight, but I got to
and
eat
let
some
them know,
food
hey,
first,
that's where we're
and I was
headed.
going to do that,
Start to
but I
clear
was
the
sitting in
roadways
this
for us.
chair
and that becomes a lot easier
waiting
when
for
you're
them to
going
go
at this
live
speed,
with
which
this.
is
Well, yes.
obviously incredibly slow. It
the
actually
speeds are
makes
helping here,
tactical maneuvering.
Rant
and
away,
management a
thanks,
lot
Jody.
easier,
Jim, what's up?
Considering that you're not
What do you
dealing
do?
with
It's
someone
kidnapping.
who is going 50, 60, 70 plus miles per hour. You even see some of those CHP cars rolling off there on an exit, perhaps maybe coming out the other side. But we'll see, obviously, right now, because we kind of lost track of the vehicle going under
Yeah.
those overpasses just visually. But we know they're in that area right now, and that CHP essentially has a handle on this. They know exactly where the vehicle
Play
is.
it back 8x
Again, this
speed.
is,
That's
this
a
is
good
pursuit,
idea.
if you're just joining us, that started on the 5605 interchange.
Can they please just,
going
like, move
south
this
on the
helicopter over
605, and
here?
right now,
Maybe?
looks like
Is it
they're
done?
going toward the 405 exit.
Like, it doesn't look like these
And,
cop cars are
the
moving
car, the
anymore.
vehicle that you
Can
were
you
looking
pull
at
this
going
helicopter over on the other
maybe somewhere
side?
between 5 to 10 miles per
There's
hour,
someone kidnapped in the car.
incredibly
I'm not
slowly,
clear
was
about
spike-stripped
that.
At some point, losing perhaps that front left tire that we were pointing out, and that the suspect is wanted for
Is it
possible
over?
kidnapping. Again, don't know if that person has a weapon or not. So these are fluid details, a fluid situation that we are trying to figure out for you right now.
That is moving rather slowly, but we're going to try to maneuver.
I guess
our
they're still
helicopter
moving.
here. Just a word to our viewers: it is cloudy out there. There are some
Mm-hmm.
low clouds, so we're told that our chopper SkyCal has to hang back just a bit for obviously our crew's safety. But as we tried to get past this,
It might be Kenny. Yo, has anybody heard from
Overpass
Kenny
there.
tonight?
we're waiting to see if we can see that vehicle that
Who de-kidnapped?
police CHP is pursuing right now. It looks to be like a white convertible, and
Oh, they're going in a tunnel?
can't make it out just yet.
No.
No,
They got
looks like
over to
that
the
right
other
now. It's
side of the
just
highway,
CHP
and now they're going in a
vehicles, and,
tunnel.
We're gonna
right
go
there
through. Yeah, it's right
in
there.
the-
We're gonna go through this tunnel here, so
Right.
it's gonna be maybe quite a moment before we're able to see it come.
How
out
long is the
other
tunnel?
end, because this thing is moving 5 miles per hour at this
It's not very
And
long.
one of the other questions here, if this is where that vehicle is about to come out of too, we pointed out so far in the last 15 minutes how much traffic has been affected. That's been behind on the 605 right now. And as we transition here to the 405, and
Oh,
you're
okay,
just
it's a
noticing on the left
transition.
side of
There
your
they
screen as
are.
The vehicle pops up right there in the center of your screen. There's even more traffic to consider, and of course, traffic is always top of our minds here in Southern California.
El
on any
Homer,
day
I'm
of the
not
week,
clear on
particularly
whether or
on
not the
weekend night if you're
kidnapping
trying to get
victim is
somewhere,
inside the
but,
car. I think the answer
here,
is no.
would be
I
my
think
next
that there was
question
like
is to,
some
okay,
incident
now you
earlier
have
in the
this wave
day
of traffic coming in on
with
the left
that,
side of your
but
screen,
I'm
how
not
that's going to
sure.
affect
Steven,
the
what's up?
CHP tries
Looks
to
like-
wall
Hey, it's
this
Adrian. What's going
suspect
on?
off here
I don't
to the
know.
side, but
Looks like they're in Long Beach right
we're
now.
just gonna have to wait and see.
And they really do have to be careful.
Slower than
because,
15.
again,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know the
They kept saying
details
on the
of who
scanner it
may
was
be
5 to
in that
10.
Vehicle. There may be someone inside, which is
I'm
why we
unclear
haven't
about whether or
seen
not this is
a
if the
pit
person's
maneuver
armed, or
just
I mean, at least
yet.
they're
Slow
acting like they're
speeds
armed, I
are
guess.
better for those pits, but you know that vehicle being only possibly running on 3 good tires, if not less, that could also play.
Yeah, I don't
into
think it's
why
3 good
they are
tires
not
at all.
deciding to make
Apparently,
any
they
more
hit a
aggressive
spike
moves,
strip
but
like with
as you
all 4
mentioned, you know,
tires.
they are moving
So
to close
maybe
off
one of
the
them is
405
especially
there
messed
as
up, but
vehicles have to just
Socket,
get out
what's
the
up?
way. I'm
Yeah.
sure wondering
Uh,
what is happening.
right.
If you're from Southern California, you know this is a pursuit.
And typically, these pursuits would be whizzing by you if you ever do. Get
Well, it looks
caught in
like the tire's
situations, but
completely
this
gone on
one,
their
of course,
front
going
one.
incredibly slowly. But you saw those.
The car was
CHP,
kidnapped. Shinji,
vehicles
welcome.
start to shift over to the left,
Yeah,
but
Jerry,
there it is.
thank
The
you.
car,
Hit the like
very
button.
much see it wobbling.
That
like
should
how
help.
it
You
is.
can really see
Maybe.
that front tire
I don't
down
know.
to its rim.
I don't
Take
know
a
what
look
it
at
does,
that.
but it's easy to
It
do,
is
so you might
hitting
as well
hard
do
on
it.
that
It's
pavement.
free.
You know that
It's
driver,
really easy.
It is loud in that
Yeah.
vehicle. You wonder if the other tire may look the same, if they were able to successfully.
You already had to click to
spike
get here.
strip
You just
both
make one more
sides
click.
there.
It's hard to tell. Obviously, the indication right now, I mean, we can guarantee that it is that front left one,
Yeah.
but that also, you pointed out, it is a convertible, looks like a Mustang, at least
Looks
from
like
my
they're going a
perspective.
little bit
Yeah.
faster now.
You know, the brake lights obviously are going.
Yeah,
there.
shout out to
It's
Soundless.
just that this vehicle is moving. Obviously, we're zoomed in, but you can tell it is moving very, very slowly as we now transition onto the 405.
Yeah, it looks like it's speeding up. That the
Yeah, they're
driver's
going a little
trying to Speed
faster.
up just a bit, but I'm sure that that car is just not able to
No.
go any faster without having.
Pit them,
or good
queso. I think they
tires
got to be
there.
going like at
What I'm
least
surprised is that
25.
We're not seeing any
The pit's
sparks
not
at
going to
this
do
point
anything.
because, oh,
If you were to pit them
it
right
looks
now,
like
they
a
just keep
little-
driving.
A little spark there because you can see that rim
Loki, what's
is
up?
hitting the concrete, and if you're going
Especially if you try to speed up,
Queso,
and
what's
you're
going on?
establishing even
miles
more,
Welcome.
per hour,
even
yeah.
more friction. That's what ends up
Yep.
ends up leading to
All those,
you know, potential fire, sparks, all of that,
Mm-hmm.
of course. But there's only so much you can do
With the
a
pit, they're
vehicle
like
that
trying to
is
stall the
affected to
car.
this degree.
And at this
Yeah,
speed,
this
they
is the first time we're
couldn't.
getting a
Like, it
look
would
at
just.
possibly inside that
spin 'em,
vehicle.
and then they
You
just
can
keep
make out
driving.
a slight silhouette there. It's really hard to see given it's so dark in this area. But it looks like you can see at least, you know, the driver a bit, but you can't really make out anyone else at this point.
No, and all we can tell so far about the vehicle, aside from it's a convertible, it looks like it's just simply a two-door coupe. So there's not that much space inside. One of
Oh,
those
it's a
cars to begin
BMW?
with.
Is it?
So
What
at
is this?
most you might be
It's a
able to
Mustang.
have one, if not two more people in there. But again, we don't know the exact number. We know it almost looks now as if it's slowing down even more.
They got this
so.
whole highway
But
closed off
just
in a
as we
hurry.
zoom out here on the 405, you just notice how the response by CHP is significant. You're noticing 4 vehicles in your screen right now, but we can tell you from just the last 10, 15 minutes, it is a lot more.
Yeah, I think they
behind and a
could
very
clear Joker,
significant
but the
response
car
to the
wouldn't
situation
stall.
right now.
So
Yeah,
it
we're
would just
talking
like
about, what,
keep
a
driving,
6
right?
to 10 lane
I mean, I've
freeway
seen it
to
before.
405, depending on what area you're driving down. CHP has completely shut down traffic just to keep people.
But you know, it
safe.
might work anyway. It wouldn't do what they
And
want
also
it to
try
do.
to
Can they
get
not
this
just block them in?
pursuit
Do
to
they
come
don't do
to a
that?
Stop to come to an end.
Could
there.
they? Yes. They don't do
And
that.
at this point, it is just not happening.
And you see-
Looks like the vehicle starts to slow down a bit. As we're
That
seeing it
like
right
there's a
now.
lot of
And
reasons
then
about why they don't
occasionally,
block people in. It can
again,
go
the way
really,
this
really
gun is
badly.
mind-blowing that it can
So
keep going, and they
right
will
now the
start to
police
speed
have
up to
all
about
the time on
12
their
to 14
side.
miles
It's
per
eventually
hour.
going to
And there's the
end.
traffic
There's
slowed
no
down
need
there
to
on the
block them in,
405 from what
honestly.
we were pointing out when
Just-
the,
they're not getting
suspect
away.
made the transition from the 605 onto the 405, but you notice it there. Now backed up, and it's something that
Snarkeroni,
has been
welcome.
affecting a multitude of people now, just in the last 15 to 20 minutes or so. And now you're looking back at the vehicle in pursuit right now. It's speeding up just a little bit again there. It's almost like in these short bursts it'll pick up before, and obviously it's hard to tell exactly what the driver is thinking, but given the situation and given the fact that it's just one tire.
Yeah,
at
it would
least
suck to be stuck
that
behind this,
is-
yeah.
That has been spiked, affecting the vehicle.
And yeah, you might be
only
making
go
phone
so
calls,
fast
Dusty.
before
I
you then
mean,
start to
I
lose
guess
even
that's what
more
I do.
control of the car.
Yeah.
Sparks start to come up from that tire, and then you're talking about a potential worse situation.
Enjoying the last
if
minutes
Sorry
of
about
freedom.
if anything were to happen. But then the car starts to slow down just a little bit more as you take a look at it here. And you're caught in a cycle of what is a very slow pursuit, but one that we've noticed CHP be on top of the entire time because there's nowhere else for this person to go. That spotlight, you see it moving there just a
Top
little bit.
speed
It's been on top of
13.
it the entire
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And as we
Try to
try to
zoom
zoom
in.
in here to see if we can get a better look at the driver.
It's hard to make out. You're seeing some sort of movement inside the vehicle, right? It looks like that driver is making some sort of movement with their hands, now speeding up to 20 miles per hour. When you're
Okay,
when you
we're
have
speeding up a
tire
little.
on its rim. This is going to be very, very.
What would Texas
difficult
cops
for
do,
this
right? The one
driver
we saw the other
to
day, they were
keep,
pretty
that
freaking aggressive.
steering wheel
They weren't
straight.
blocking that person in until he got out of the
I'm
car,
surprised
though.
again we're not seeing any more sparks, especially because they picked up so much speed. Again, this person wanted for
Shooting out
possible
another tire, dude.
kidnapping.
They're all flat,
I
I believe,
don't know
Hunt. So like they will
details on
go.
the situation of
I mean,
that
I'm pretty like
kidnapping
he hit
or
a
where
spike
it
strip
may
with
have
all of them,
occurred.
and they're
But
not
we do know
shooting
that
any
this pursuit
tires.
started at the 605
Okay.
interchange, and take a look, Gio. This person now trying
Oh.
to get
Coming off
off.
the side.
and really making a brazen maneuver there, going
As
quickly
we keep
to the
an
right
eye on
side.
this, because we're losing sight underneath the overpass there. Now,
Oh.
there's the vehicle again, and we want to bring in Patrick O'Malley, retired police sergeant. Patrick, can you hear us?
It's missing one tire entirely, but I don't know the other ones. Maybe they look. This one looks okay,
Okay, we're
but
gonna work on
supposedly they
getting
hit a
Patrick.
spike
But in the
strip,
meantime,
so
see now,
you would
after that
theoretically
very
lose
quick maneuver,
air in
by
all
the
of
suspect.
them.
All of a sudden now you're seeing CHP inch closer and closer.
But it does look like the one that we
to
can
this
see
vehicle.
We're going to try to get Patrick
is
O'Malley,
okay.
retired sergeant, with us one more time. Patrick, can you hear us?
Yes, Leslie, I can.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us
Hey,
tonight.
Cold Light, what's up?
As we continue to monitor this very slow-moving pursuit, but dangerous nonetheless. Are you hearing anything about what this
Oh, we
suspect
never did
could
a
have been
prediction.
involved
Dude,
in?
I
We know
forgot. Totally
possible
forgot. Why didn't
kidnapping, but
anybody
we're not
remind
getting
me?
any more details on that.
How long have
No,
we been
that's all
going?
I'm hearing also. I haven't heard if it was an armed kidnapping. I haven't heard where the kidnapping victim is.
We've
I
already
haven't
been
heard anything
15
else
minutes.
except what you guys are currently
The hell?
reporting right now.
Given
All
the
right, we'll do
situation
30.
now, obviously, Patrick, when we deal with pursuits, you're used to things flying 50 plus, 70 plus, 80 plus miles per hour, especially when it involves
Thank you for
a
following.
freeway like we've been seeing here on the 605 and the 405. So what is typically the protocol, the sort of
Okay, it's a rear
tactical
wheel-
plan when it
rear wheel,
comes
so you
to
could
dealing a
just-
situation? Because if I was watching
Okay.
from home, I'd be thinking, why not
Prediction is
try
up.
to cut off
Will
a
this chase last
corner,
for 30
a
minutes?
suspect that is
That would have to
moving
be
so
another
slowly?
15
What tends to
minutes,
be
or
the plan in a
14
situation
minutes.
like this?
Well, the biggest thing and what it could
This chase has been going on for a really
based
long
on the
time,
number of
and
units
it's
that are
been like
behind
this
it,
for a really long time. Not
and
just
how
this
they're
15
treating
minutes,
it is
but
that it could be an armed
much
kidnapping
longer.
suspect.
it's been
So
five
when somebody is
5
armed,
to
the last
10
thing you
miles
want
an hour
them
for a really
to be
long
doing
time.
is looking
So
back
it's
or directly in
certainly
your
possible that
direction.
it goes
So
on
if
for
they were
another
to do
14.
some type of pit maneuver, anything like that, it puts other officers in danger. So this is like a dream scenario for this type of pursuit. They have the vehicle almost completely disabled at a speed that nobody can get, injured in terms of the suspect or the victim or the officers, and then they will just get all of their resources
Check, what's up?
ready, which is, it's been going on long enough where they're almost probably all there, and then they will ride this until the end, until the car is completely disabled, and handle it from there.
It's pretty incredible, though, Sergeant,
Dream
when these
scenario,
vehicles
yeah.
continue to move,
The police
even though
dream
they
about
are at
this.
slow speeds.
Why is it
I
going
know you
so
said this
slow,
is
man? I'm
really
not quite
the best
sure.
scenario for CHP and
Bill
law
D, what's up?
enforcement. But when we see this, I mean,
the
just
car is
blows
screwed
my
up
mind
right
every
now, but I
time we
feel like
see
maybe it
these
could go a little
vehicles
faster.
that
I'm not sure.
They're able to
I mean, the
continue
car is
chugging
clearly
along,
disabled.
and these pursuit suspects just aren't going to give up despite going 5 miles per hour.
Yeah, and in this on this vehicle, it's hard to say so far, but it looks like the rear wheel, at least on the
Checking his
driver's side,
Tinder?
it still has air. So I think it's probably, if it's a Mustang, I can't really tell for sure. If it's a Mustang, then it's a rear-wheel drive vehicle. So, all
Yeah,
of
we
the
haven't seen the
horsepower and
tires on
everything's
the
still
other
coming from the
side,
rear end, he's
so it's
just
very
pushing it
possible
and
that
just
they're
riding
so
on those
screwed
rims.
that that's
So,
why
until the rims
the car
disintegrate
can
and
barely
everything
move,
falls
right? Like
apart, this car could
it's
just keep
possible
going
that
at this
there's
speed for a
much
while.
that we
And
can't
as
see
saw,
right now.
A minute ago, he got it up to
What's
about
broken?
25 again.
Well, the
So,
front driver's side tire is
he
gone.
could be
It
just
looks
riding
like.
this out. He could be talking on the phone, calling, people trying to get some help or whatever he needs to do. But yeah, they got, as you saw, they had the freeway completely shut down. They'll probably
Yeah, I think
shut down
both
the
front
other
ones
side
might
as it
be
comes
screwed
to
up.
a
We can't
halt.
quite tell, but it did look like
And
that,
then
right?
They just they have it in the perfect situation with nothing around it.
It's
except
possible
police
that both the
officers,
tires
and
on the
they'll
other
handle
side of
it
the
from there.
car are
Yeah, I
done, and
can
we
t-
just haven't seen it.
Patrick, we can tell you from our perspective, it certainly
Super
looked
Win,
like a
welcome.
Mustang. When we zoomed in a little bit earlier, you could make
They
out
always
the,
have enough
the logo
resources
and
to
the
block
icon
them in,
there
guys. They
in
won't.
the center of the vehicle. But to your point there about traffic, is that we've noticed it was stretching for miles. I mean, it seems like such a
It's not
simple
smart to
pursuit,
block
and
them in
a way,
either.
as you
It's
mentioned, it
really
is
not
because
smart.
You have everything in such a controlled
The smart way to
fashion.
do this is just what they're doing.
But with
It looks like
traffic
only
being
one
backed
person,
up
yeah.
As well, it seems like you would rather obviously be in a
Spike strip.
situation
Well, we
like this if you
didn't.
had
Yeah,
to,
we could do it, but like I
versus
haven't
other
seen the
examples where
spike
we've
strip.
been-
We
we've
could fill it
seen,
in. I mean, I know it happened. I
pursuits
listened to
happen
it
in
on the
neighborhoods
scanner
where someone
before
will just
this.
keep driving 40
So
miles an hour
I
through
know that
intersections,
they
through red
did do a
lights,
spike
et cetera, and just
obviously.
kind of keep it going. Right
I know
with
they
this one,
also they
it's
were
kind of
going
an
over
open-
100 miles an hour at one
just wide
point
open
as well.
completely, and it
And they
almost
lost
looks
the tire,
In
it
fact,
looks
they're
like.
going so slow, it almost looks like they're at a complete stop.
Yeah, this just makes all the decision making that much easier. They're at this point they're preparing for the termination of it, which could happen at any second. Where in
I don't know
other
where the
ones,
victim is,
you make
Snark.
a
We don't have a
decision,
lot
based on what
of
is the crime. Is
a lot
the
of
person armed? Are we going to continue
details.
this pursuit? Are the officers in danger? Or is the citizens in danger? Where in this situation, it's just all about they have the information in terms of the kidnapping, so they know if the person was armed. They know,
Cold Light, I was listening to it
if
online.
the victim's in the car or if the victim's been dumped off, they have all the information. So
Not a I
that's
don't
what
have a
they're
real police
preparing
scanner.
all of their resources for, and as you can see, right now they just have the entire freeway.
Yeah,
with
they
a
could
wall
be,
on
Hunt.
one
It totally
side
could
and
be.
all of their officers and then the suspects. So it's just a perfect situation, and they're just going to.
It would make
out.
sense.
They could be getting other resources depending on the crime. They could be getting
Tusk,
their
what's
SWAT
going
teams
on?
in place and or to the scene and everything else. So it's all about safety.
If you're on YouTube, hit the like.
It's all about safety for the suspect and the officers.
Yeah, it truly is. And I know we're taking a wide look now, and it's incredible to see that wall of CHP officers there on the southbound lanes as they continue to follow this vehicle. But you can see plenty of people stopping, staring on northbound lanes and wondering what is happening. So it's going to
Yeah, good question. If anybody has anyone ever
But
been
it's
in
interesting,
traffic
when
where
we
they got
zoom
screwed
up
by a
into
chase
the suspect's
like this?
vehicle here, you can get a better look at just how damaged those two front tires are, and it looks like both. You can see the
Yeah, that
rubber
must be why they're going
kind
so
of
slow. Both the
flapping
front ones
there.
are like gone.
More so now than it
Or
was
just
before.
completely destroyed.
And you can see the silhouette of that suspect. I haven't
Yo,
seen
thank you for
what
following,
looks to be
Scotty.
anyone else inside, but again, you can't see the back seat there. It's really hard
Bill,
to make
I don't
out
know.
the front, but take a look. We're zooming up, and you
Some
really
kind of
see
Mustang.
that rubber just flapping.
Looks like the tire's
as,
not completely gone
those-
from
those
either one
rims
of
are really
them. It's just kind of
grinding
flapping
that
around.
Cement. And for a pursuit suspect like this, Patrick, this would be really hard to
Hey,
navigate this
Jeff,
vehicle,
so this
right? I can
one
imagine just
started with
how
some sort of
loud
kidnapping issue.
this
I don't
is.
actually know. I heard that maybe there was
Well,
some
yeah,
kind
and
of
that's why
standoff
he's barely
before
moving, 'cause
about it,
he-
but
you know,
I'm not
the car is
just
barely
kind
being able
of
to roll.
sure, not sure
He's
about
down to
that.
the rims. You barely have any rubber left on him, and he's just riding out his last moments. Before he either has to get
Chase
out
is
and
still
run,
going,
or
yeah.
he's just going to open the doors and give up. And so there's
As long
just
as
so
they're
much
driving.
room for everybody to work with. He tried.
Who
to-
is? Thank you.
It looked like he tried to get off the freeway when
Welcome.
he did that one maneuver, but he didn't even make it off and stayed on the slow lane. So, yeah, he's just rolling now to the final point where he'll stop, and then we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
Well,
El
Patrick,
Homer
getting to
says
that
stuck
point
in traffic
about,
in
a
Irvine when a
possible,
plane landed on the
fail
405.
situation
That's
or an attempt
that's
at an
fucked up.
escape,
I
it
feel
seems
like I
that
heard
is
of that
incredibly
before.
unlikely, almost impossible, given the fact of where they are right now. In the
Yeah,
middle of the
Jeff, no,
freeway,
this one
given
has
the
been
number
going
of,
at this
law
speed
enforcement vehicles
for
in
a very
pursuit.
long time.
And in a way, it goes back to your even earlier point about
Not
how
just
mu-
as
how
long
this
as I've
is
been live, but
even
much
made a little bit
longer.
easier because the likelihood of any attempt to jump out seems unlikely, unless I'm wrong. And please tell us.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know. Maybe
you're
they
right.
haven't lost the
problem
tire yet. That might be
we have
incorrect.
is
The tires are
that
so
ideal
shredded.
situation would be to shut down all
So
the
maybe I
other
need to
lanes of
uncheck
traffic
that one
all
for
the
now.
time.
Well, who-
'Cause,
what does it
several
matter?
pursuits that we've covered, you've seen where they jumped out and ran across traffic. So ideally, they would like to even slow down the other side of the freeway, the northbound side. It looks like it has been slowing down a little bit, but you have that HOV or
Cold Light,
toll
I'm
lane,
sure that's part of it,
where they're
right?
out moving pretty fast.
And
So
yeah, this would suck
they
if you're like
have
getting
enough
off work,
units,
or
and they have a
geez, if you're
couple
like
units
working
over
third shift
near
and
that
going to
center
work.
Island, so if something was to happen, hopefully they can catch him before he tries to jump over that, because that's the last thing they want is someone running through the other lanes of traffic.
I was going to mention that because we have seen those pursuits where the people just
Yeah, dogs,
get
you
out
might
of
be
their
right. Like if it
vehicle
ends and the person just
you
sitting
know,
in their car, that's
they're
very
already
possible.
breaking the law now. So if they're running into the other side,
Cold Light, they can't do it. It's too
into
slow,
oncoming
man.
traffic, they're just simply trying to get away at that point. Do
As
you
far
think
as I know, the
CHP will
kidnapping
shut
victim
down
is
those
not
lanes
in the car,
anytime soon,
but
or
maybe.
they're going to just
I don't know much
continue to
about
monitor
this.
At this point.
I don't know how I can find out a
Yeah,
lot
based
more.
on all the
even.
units that they have involved and that are directly
The news
behind it,
doesn't
and
seem to
then
know
they
shit
even
either.
have more units that are holding traffic behind. It just looks like they made the decision just to deal with this side of the freeway. And then just if something happens where he pops out, they could have a canine that's there that would help, try to go after him before he gets over to those lanes. It just depends on how it plays out. But
But I
they've
think
had
that the
plenty of
main
time
thing
to
is
make
like
all
if
of
you
their
like you
decisions
think
on all the
about you
resources they need
corner
based
like
on
a
the
rabid
crime.
animal, right? They don't
And
want to
it
do
seems
that.
like the vehicle's just
So
barely
that's
even
how
moving
these
now, so
chases
we'll see
always
how this
go.
plays out.
Let's say
You
this
can even
person's
notice
armed.
from
Let's
the
say
zoomed out
something,
point of
right?
view
If
that we
you
have right
try to
now,
block them in,
that Leslie was
you're
mentioning earlier,
risking
the,
much
the
more
rubber
than if you
sort of
just follow
flapping
behind
around
them.
and
You know,
it's,
like this is very low risk
it really is
situation
very
right
moving.
now.
I mean, you could even make the case that in some
And
cases
looks
you
like they're
could walk or
stopping.
run
Why are we
just as
zooming
fast
out?
as the
Let's zoom
vehicle
back
is
in.
going,
Please
given where
zoom
it is
back
right
in.
now. This is the perspective here
Looks
from
like
the
they're
southbound
done.
lanes
Stop
to the
this.
northbound lanes, and notice
Wow.
that right
Kenny,
there. This is the impact
yeah,
we were talking
yeah.
about before, because while the pursuit is incredibly
Crossfire
slow,
too.
it is
Exactly.
by
There's
all
just not. There's
logistical
not.
perspectives
It's
rather
there's not a
simple
lot of
compared to
benefit
other
to blocking the
pursuits,
car
and
in,
this is
other
the
than
impact
you
there.
stop
When you
them.
have people trying to get
But
someplace,
they're
and
eventually
you
going to
essentially
stop. It
just
looks like they're
stonewall
stopped
them
now, and
until
I'd
this
love for them
pursuit
to
comes to
zoom
an
in
end,
and
which
show
could
us
be
what's
in the next
going
few
on.
minutes, could be a while longer, and it's kind of
No,
hard
they're
to
still
tell.
moving a little bit,
Even when it
just
comes to an
barely.
end, Patrick, it takes a while for them to get
Yeah, okay.
people into custody and really, move this car, be able to tow it away. But I do know the goal of CHP is to just get the freeway open as quick as possible.
Yeah, this is a nightmare for CHP. The last thing CHP wants is their freeway shut down. They're good at what they do. They deal with traffic all the time. So in this situation, they'll, if there's nothing else going on, there's no shooting or nothing like that, they'll try to get this freeway cleared up as quick as possible and then get all that traffic moving. But the problem is, in this situation, if he decides to barricade himself and not come out, then they have to call SWAT teams and everything else, and this could go on until tomorrow morning.
And
So, it's
yeah.
everything's so unpredictable once it gets to this point. You just hope that he just steps out, gets taken into custody.
Yeah,
and clears the
Hunt
freeway,
said it
and
well.
everybody can move on
The
with their
cops
lives.
hold all the
That's
cards.
unknown,
Pert
and
feels
that's where
pretty
in
low
this
threat level
situation,
right now.
Depending
You don't
on
need
the
to poke
crime,
the
and
bear.
that's
You
what we
don't need to
know.
make it
If
any
this is an
worse.
armed
Just
kidnapping, it's a
freaking
very
follow
serious
them.
felony.
This is
And
how they
if
always
it's
do it,
in-
and it's
in
the
that
right way to do it.
situation, and
They
could be calling
every
in the
once in a
SWAT
while
team
they'll be
now,
really aggressive
and
because
that would
they're
be what
much
you
more
would want
familiar
in
with the
front of
person
this,
in the
would be
car,
some type of
probably
SWAT
committed a
vehicle or
much
Bearcat vehicle.
less
So you have,
serious
an
crime,
armored vehicle where
and they
can
just
pull in
have
front of this
information
and
that
they can
it's
stop this pursuit now,
not going to
and then
be.
everybody can handle it from there. But
I don't know
right
how the
now,
frick
you
they
just wanna
always
be
do.
behind it
I'm
with
always
the
surprised,
suspect
but
looking
I'm just
forward.
assuming.
All he sees
His
is
tires
an
fucked up.
empty
Yeah, real
freeway,
bad,
and all the
Kenny, real
officers
bad.
have the advantages from behind with all of their lights and the whole freeway.
Just barely
Forgive me if
moving
this
now.
might seem like a silly question, but in terms of communication with the suspect, is there any attempt at that from this current perspective that we're looking at right now from CHP directly behind?
Tina
the
says he
suspect,
knows
or
he's
is this
causing
something
all
that is
hell on
just
the
a
road.
pure,
He's on the
we just
news. He's
wait
probably
until
having a ball.
that person
Maybe.
stops?
I don't know. I mean, this is about to
I'm
be
not
the
entirely
last thing he
sure
does
how it would work in this situation,
long
but
time.
is there any attempt at trying to
At
communicate
least
with
out
the
in the
suspect,
free
or are you just
world.
waiting until it ends before even that sort of thought crosses their mind?
It depends on what type of kidnapping it is. If it's a known suspect, then they would be trying to contact him the whole time. So they would try to get the phone number from family or.
I don't know why the news
any of
knows
the
absolutely
friends or
nothing about
whoever
this,
knows
but I
it, and
guess
then
I
they would
also
be,
know nothing.
between dispatch and the supervisors and watch commanders.
Yeah, I
they would
wonder
be
if he's
trying to
playing music
contact him and
too.
Trying to convince him to, just pull over.
I'm guessing
and
more
give up,
likely
and,
he's on his
They
phone,
would have crisis
but
negotiators that could be involved also.
I don't know.
So it really just depends. But sometimes, you have
Garbanzo,
someone that pulls up and tries to
you could be
kidnap
right about
somebody,
that.
and you have no idea who they are. So that could be one of those too, where they just have no idea who this guy is, and they have no way to figure out how to contact him.
Retired Police Sergeant Patrick O'Malley, we're going to keep you here on the line. I just want to get some of our viewers up to speed since we have hit the 8 o'clock hour here on KCAL News. If you're just joining us right now, we are currently monitoring this pursuit of a possible kidnapping suspect happening here on the 405 South.
I heard
near
someone
the
say that
22.
the
We know this
kidnapping thing
started
had
around
caused some kind of
6:45.
incident. There was like a standoff, and then I don't know if the person jumped in a car or started driving. I don't
We're
know.
deployed, and we know that the car has the front two tires definitely ran through those spike strips, but because you can see them down to the rim there, you can see a lot of the rubber from that tire just flapping around. But Gio, for the last,
Half hour or so?
hour, more than an hour,
yeah.
this car now has led CHP on a pursuit, and at some point going 5 miles an hour, and nothing has come to an end. This person has not decided to get
Right.
out.
If that's how fast they were even going, because we've vacillated between high-end speeds and potentially 2025.
Yeah, 1
and
minute.
very quickly coming back down to this slow crawl. But on top of all those details Leslie was just giving out, it's also turned into what you noticed there on screen was a traffic incident as well, because despite the fact that this is a very slow pursuit, something that CHP seems to be very much on top of with a light over top, you look at that right there. That is significant. Those are the southbound lanes of the 405 backed up significantly. And this was a pursuit that started on the 605, then transitioned here to the 405 in about the last 20 to 25 minutes or so. And the longer it goes, the more that's going to become an issue in terms of backing up even further and getting in people's way. So if you even had plans on jumping on there anytime soon, if you're still at home, that might be something to avoid in the very near future, because right now all of those lanes on the southbound 405 are shut off and shut down until this pursuit ends. So on top of all that, we continue to monitor the situation, and we also have retired Police Sergeant Patrick O'Malley on the line with us to fill us in, give us some more perspective, more details on what's going on here. And Patrick, as you were mentioning before, this is really just a waiting game right now, correct? Is this just something where it could end in the next 5 minutes, maybe the next 15, or even in a possible long case scenario, could go into tomorrow morning if it turns into something?
It
with the
certainly
suspect there
could, man.
Sort of waiting it in.
All right, we hit 30 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Most people
These
said
are our
no,
most exciting
but
pursuits. You know, a lot of people
somehow.
like the exciting ones that have lots of drama and excitement.
Let's go
but
with a
this one looks like
45.
This is how it's going to play out. So this is, you know, until it ends, it looks like he's going to be going 2 miles an hour, and we'll just wait and see if, you know, the CHP or the police officers that are involved or the deputy sheriffs are getting other resources into place to make a different move. But, you know, for now, they can just ride it out like this, and everybody stays safe, and it's just not as exciting as normal.
Yeah, and, you know, we know many of the times it's a sergeant making those calls. I'm sure you've called
Yeah, Bill,
many
it's
of
kind of
these
like the
pursuits in
car
your
is
career.
limping right now.
But people watching this may be asking, why not a pit maneuver right now?
ACM, what's up?
Yeah, and that's exactly it. You know, everybody always says, well, why not just pull right in front of them? Why not block them off? A lot of police departments have policies that they can't ram a vehicle. They can use the pit maneuver, but they can't ram a vehicle. They can't get in front of a vehicle. It's basically due to the dangers that are involved.
There you go.
And in this situation, it seems so simple to put a car in front. But to put a car in front of this car, you have to have an officer inside of it, and then that brings them into the line of fire if this suspect was armed. So they just
Thank
want
you
to
for
keep
following,
him facing
CJ.
forward. When you do a pit, all the officers
Yogi,
that are
what's
trained in
up?
the pit maneuver, it takes 2, 3, 4 officers to do it correctly, because one hits the bumper and then they keep on going. The other officers, pull their vehicles up.
World War III, how's it going?
Traffic stop in whatever direction the vehicle is.
So
now
I
facing.
have actually seen
So
a
in this
chase like this,
situation, they have
like
him facing
4
away
years
just
ago.
in case this is an armed kidnapping
Very
suspect.
similar.
And
And
then
it went
make
on
moves from
for
there.
literally
We'll
6
see. I see
hours.
some
Okay, it
officers
was
that are
just like
pulling up
this,
now.
but for
There's
6
some different
hours.
types of vehicles, so
So
they may
we
have
could-
something
we could be here all
plan
night.
or a plan in place that they try to bring this to an end
SD,
a little
what's
sooner
up?
than keeping
Yeah,
this going at
405.
2 miles an hour. So we'll just have to see.
And one of the other things you were mentioning.
Did he get
to
away
us
the
earlier,
6-hour one?
Patrick, is the
No,
fact that
it was
this
just like
allows
this.
officers,
And eventually the car
a
stopped.
benefit of time
and
and planning, because you're right in the sense that it's not, quote unquote, an exciting pursuit by typical standards here in Southern California. This is something that allows them to have a strong
And the guy got
hold
out,
on
and
the
he was just
situation,
having a
because we've been
real
able to
mental
maintain this
breakdown. The guy from the
vehicle
6-hour chase,
from SkyCal, from our chopper,
he was
incredibly
just
easily.
like
So I
in
can
bad
only
shape,
imagine
man.
with
He
the
was,
number
yeah.
of law enforcement vehicles in
It was
pursuit, this
one
has
of those
been a
kind of
very,
things.
A very manageable tactical situation for them.
Yeah, for sure. And you have probably numerous police departments.
Oh, yeah, the time
involved
changes tonight.
also
Good
with
call,
CHP,
right.
sheriff's
What time is that
departments as
at?
well.
What time
So
does the
whatever
time change?
resources they need, they already have in place. So you'll have officers on the other side of the freeway that are in place just in case something ends up going on that side. You'll have officers.
2
that are
a.m., yeah,
already
it's
in
usually
place
2
on the
a.m., right?
off-ramps and the on-ramps. We saw that you have the police helicopter up above, so you just have everything in place perfectly, and you got plenty of time to think about it and make changes, and then just let it play out from there.
Yeah, and Patrick, we know that this suspect possibly involved in
Yeah, I remember that one,
kidnapping. Now,
Saki.
we don't know the details of that
Oh, man, that
kidnapping.
one, I was at
Is
work and
what
streaming it.
happened to the
And then
victim.
I drove
We are
home and kept
waiting to
streaming
hear
it.
More from CHP, but this Does this give you an
At 2 a.m. it
indication
changes to
that
1
this,
a.m.
You know,
Right,
every
okay.
suspect that leads police on a pursuit is serious, but this just seems like, you know, police may be thinking this person is extremely dangerous, you know, maybe armed in some sort of way. It just, the amount of
JT, you have
CHP
missed nothing.
officers is
This has been going
really
on
making me
for
question.
a long time, and
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know where
this has been exactly
originated.
like
I think it was
this.
Santa
Okay,
Fe-
so I've
Santa
been
Fe
live for
Springs, which is
34
Bellevue
minutes. It's been
County Sheriff's
exactly like
Department.
this all 34 minutes.
And then looking at some of the
No
vehicles,
differences.
I can't tell if they're all CHP or not. So it just depends. Usually, if it's CHP wants to handle it on their own. So the other departments will back off and just provide support. So this probably is all CHP since it is on the freeway, and I do see some of the CHP vehicles. So.
I'm seeing
Yeah,
all
I mean,
CHP, but as you mentioned that, I do see, and I can't make out what city it may be from, but one of those vehicles said police, correct?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
It stood
Yeah, he's
out
pressing on the
compared to
gas a little
other
bit.
ones. And right now we're
And yeah, I
maintaining
don't
an
know,
eye on
Kenny. I don't know how fast this thing can
vehicle
possibly
there,
go, or
getting
what
a
is
little
the
dark, but
what is
otherwise
going on
you can
here.
easily point
You
it
would
out
think the
and
car
stop
could
right
just
there
keep
over time
driving
as well, but
a
to
little
what you
faster
said
than this
earlier,
anyway.
Patrick, it's the persistence. It's that's what I think is so striking to us so far is the fact that you know that
No, JT,
dichotomy
they
of
won't
the
box
fact
him
that
in.
it's
It
such
puts a
an,
cop in the line of
quote-unquote,
fire.
easy
It makes
pursuit to
it
handle
makes it's just
because
not
the
good.
suspect is going
This is
so
the best
slow
way
and
to
it
do
makes
it.
managing it so easy, but also the question of, well, it is going so slow, so it feels like it should be over or under control right now. There's a friction there that I think is really interesting, and of course, obviously concerning, given the fact that it's still ongoing, despite a vehicle that a lot of people would consider is going incredibly slow.
But yeah, and in normal pursuits, you know,
He's
you know
armed.
how adrenaline
Okay, is that what they've
works,
said?
and,
I
a
don't
lot of
really
these
know,
officers get
but
very high on the adrenaline. They got to,
it would
to
make
refer back
sense.
to their training.
I
and
don't
their
think the police
experience
even know.
in the
You know, they
termination
never know
points
what the
of
hell's going
pursuit. That's something that you know they don't have a lot of adrenaline as this pursuit goes on. So
Did he
they
thank
have
you?
to stay very aware and you know on their toes in terms of what the next step is going to be when he does jump out or something else changes, because it's been going on at 5 miles an hour or less for so long. It does get a little bit boring until you're getting to the end. So I just the way that it's playing out, though.
Shout out everybody on YouTube. Hit the thumbs up.
CHP does not like to have things drag on. So the last thing they want is a
We got like
freeway to
100 more
completely
people
shut
than we
down
have
like this.
thumbs
So
up.
it just leads
Just
me
saying
to
it's
believe
easy.
that there must be some type of
Front wheel
weapon that's
damage.
involved
Yeah,
in
yeah,
this
yeah,
or
yeah.
something where they don't
Bull-
want to
on
end
both
this as a
sides.
pit maneuver. So that's why they're letting this ride out how they have been doing it for so long.
Yeah, and that's, of course, as you've mentioned countless times, for the safety of the officers and the safety of
Yeah,
the
Hunt,
other
that's
people
totally
there on
true.
the
I mean, I
freeway
assume
on
that
the other
whatever's going
side.
on here,
When
this
you
is
look
the
at
worst
this,
day of this guy's
you know,
life.
this vehicle
And
looks
it's
like
gonna be
coming
even
to a stop,
worse.
but every time we think it is, the driver just keeps going, chugging along. But what would maybe
All right,
be
CM,
the next
you have
move
permission.
once this does come to an end? Or
Well, I would think
I should say,
I-
if the driver stops.
Well, it's going to be the same thing they're doing now. So, especially if there's a weapon involved. If he comes to a complete stop, then it's going to be like some of the pursuits we've seen before, where they are just going to wait for him to come out. There's they have many other resources to force him out of the vehicle at that point in time. But, when it gets to that point, their hope is that he just puts his hands up, opens the door, and exits the vehicle, and he's taken into custody. An ideal
honestly, that's what I expect to
thing
happen.
that could happen upcoming,
But there
which
could be a
we
long
hope
standoff
for,
here,
would
too.
be that they use more spike strips and try to get all of the tires flat, so that he's just running on simply all rims.
Yo,
But
thank you
that's
for
just-
following,
it's hard.
Responda.
They could do it, but they also have all the police vehicles spread all the way across the freeway, so they'd have to get somebody, put it out
Yeah,
there and
Kenny,
also
for
get
sure.
those
This would be
moved so
over
that it doesn't
otherwise.
flatten the tires of the police vehicles.
One of the things also, Patrick, that we've been looking at earlier these last 20, 30 minutes or so was you could very easily tell.
The cops are armed too.
obviously
Yeah,
you
yeah,
could
but they
tell
don't
the
wanna shoot
driver was
anybody.
there. We could see a person moving back and forth, but it's been very difficult to even point out or
They don't
notice,
need to, right?
that potential kidnapping victim in the car as well.
They could do a
But
million
it's
things,
worth
but they don't
repeating
need
for
to. This
people
is
at
the
home
easy
that
enough.
The reason that this pursuit hasn't ended yet, to your point about
JT says, invite the like button to dinner, drive them there, and after you are done with your meal,
victim in the vehicle is the reason why
go
this is
to the
not done yet,
BR,
because you have to
but
manage
leave them
their
there.
safety, officer safety, and everything else. Going back to your earlier points about not having
Wine and dine the
you know,
like
even
button.
a suspect with a weapon, having that weapon pointed toward officers.
Is the car
as
stolen?
well.
No, I don't believe so, Snark.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I haven't been able to make any calls or get any other information.
Good
in
call,
terms
Bill.
of
I might do the
what
same.
this
No, I don't have a
kidnapping
bull,
was.
but I got
So
this.
exactly what you said. If you can just imagine, that there's some, child or some kidnapping victim that's inside this vehicle. or
Yeah,
say
yeah,
it's even
Loki. I'm
inside the
assuming
trunk.
because they're. I mean,
There's
they're
all
assuming
kinds
that
of
that's a
possibilities.
possibility.
So
I'm not.
that
They're
could
not
be the
assuming that
other
that
reason
would
why
happen,
they're,
but it's
they don't want to get
possible.
this vehicle spun around or get it into some type of accident or end up in some type of big shooting. So
I have
this
no
is
idea what
like
happened to
we
the
had talked
kidnapping
about
victim. I have
before.
no
This is like
idea
a
what the
dream scenario
kidnapping
to
even
let
means.
run
That could
out
mean a million
until
different
the
things.
vehicle will no longer move or it runs out of gas. and
Socket,
then
as
they
far
will-
as I know,
they
it's a
will move
male.
on to their next step in terms of taking the suspect into custody.
Yeah, many times we see these vehicles continue to go. I know we
No, Kenny, they have no idea, or at least I have no idea. I don't think they have any reason to believe the kidnapping victim is in the car. I believe that was something that happened earlier.
Patrick, I want to get to what kind of communication do you think CHP is able to currently have with this suspect right now? Because this is
I don't think
pretty,
there's
as you
anybody in the car
mentioned,
besides the
slow
driver.
moving and
Sucko,
kind of
what's up? That's right.
a good scenario when it comes to law enforcement and allowing them to plan. Are they able to negotiate with this suspect right now? Do you think that's something that they're already doing if they're able to get a hold of them?
Did they say so, Debbie?
Yeah, that's the key. And it's entirely possible they've been talking to him this whole time, and that he's just, talking.
They speculate a
as
lot,
he's
but I don't know
driving
they
and
know
saying, No,
anything.
he's not going to give up and saying, whatever his next move is.
Yeah,
Or
JT, it could be
it's
that. That's what I'm saying.
It's possible that they have no idea
That's
who this
exactly
guy
what I'm
is.
saying.
The vehicle maybe,
It might not be that they,
it might not
yeah,
have
it's
license
could be a
plates on it
child
for them
custody
to
issue. It might not be
figure out where
literally
it's registered
kidnapping.
to,
It might
send
not have been
officers there to
against
talk to
anybody's will,
family and try to get information that way. There's just so many variables that are involved when you're trying to figure out who somebody is. Police have a lot of resources that they can use to try to figure that out. But it's just hard to say if this is some type of domestic situation, domestic kidnapping, or just some completely random kidnapping off some street corner. So it's just
They
it's
just
really
bring
hard
an
to
old
say.
cop
But the
on to
thing
like
is that,
speculate.
it's
This guy don't know
almost
shit.
100% that all the officers involved and the police departments that are involved know exactly what happened in the original kidnapping, and that's how they're treating this situation is based on those facts.
And of course, are going to continue to keep an eye on this, as you are as well. Patrick O'Malley, retired police sergeant, giving us some time.
Yeah, this
tonight.
is live
we want
now.
to pause you for a second because we want to shift the perspective a little bit here as we continue to monitor the situation, because it's turning into, or rather has turned into, a traffic nightmare as well.
Yeah, many people stuck in this traffic right now, and our very own Michelle Julie is also stuck in that traffic. Michelle, can you hear me?
Hey, Leslie. Hi, Gio.
They're talking to
What I
somebody in
looked
traffic?
up and saw what I thought were news choppers in the
Oh my
sky.
God, they got-
I called
they
the
got
Northeast
somebody in
Pilot
traffic.
Desk
All right.
Figuring that there must be something going on ahead of me. We had kind of traffic had ground to a halt there right at the 605 and the 405.
So-
And in fact, I was then notified about this slow pursuit happening ahead of me. So I'm, amongst hundreds of other drivers moving very, very slowly, like 2-3 miles an hour on the 405.
Michelle, where are you on the 405 right now?
So I just,
We're about to hit
within the last
45
60
minutes.
seconds or so, I was
Yeah,
in
Jimmy
the,
Opa, they
fast
block
track
the
lane.
on-ramps.
So I was
In
able
general, they
now
block
to
the on-ramps. They
go
get plenty of time to do
onto
that.
the
So,
22.
yeah, they
Anybody's lucky
are
enough
basically
to be in
diverting
the
traffic.
fast track
Now, I don't know that
lane
they're
and
taking them to
able
the
get
exits, but they
over.
block the
Or,
on-ramps.
For that matter, I guess you can,
Maybe they
on
do
the
let them get
405,
off on
you
the
can
exit. I
get
don't freaking know what's
into
going on.
onto the 22.
They close up the exits
we
too?
are now free
I don't
of
know.
the 405, the mess on the 405. So I just got on the 22 and it's smooth sailing. But the 405 is just red lights as far as you can see. And
Yeah, the
so I
entrance
wasn't
they
stuck in
do.
it too long, but for anybody who's right behind that pursuit, they are going to be in for a long haul tonight, it looks like.
Yeah, Michelle, we were just, as you were mentioning.
Can we get back to, like,
Sky
showing
Carlson
the
Data
chase?
showed the incredibly long line of traffic, because what started off as just, some congestion on the 605 before then getting on the 405 has now turned into something that would almost look like a live shot on a major holiday, on a major commute, on a Labor Day or Thanksgiving or Christmas. And in fact,
Estimate how many
it's
drivers,
not
man. I
typical.
don't know.
What you would typically think about.
You
here
think it
Southern
was in the
California, going
1,000
70+
range?
miles an hour.
Or
No,
is it
it's
just
going at
hundreds? I
about
don't know.
5, if not less than that right now. And I was pulling up the map as well while you were talking, and you were right. If you are fortunate enough to jump on the 22,
JT,
you
I think
will
the
be
badge is
clear
'cause I
to go
gifted you
wherever
a-
need
a
to there,
a
but otherwise
membership.
You are stuck for a significantly long amount of time there on
Yes.
the 405 while this is still going, and there doesn't
Yeah.
seem to be any indication that it's ending anytime.
Like you're
relatively
missing
soon.
anything? No, you're right. We
Michelle,
weren't
before
missing
we let you
anything,
go
but
here,
like,
were you close enough
if
at
it
all to
ended, they would've
see
missed
how
it.
many CHP officers were there on the ground?
So I was too far back. But the other issue, of course, is everyone now is bailing, trying to get off the 405. So, say, Seal Beach Boulevard, all of those exits to get off the freeway and try and take surface streets are severely impacted. So, not only do we have the issue on the freeway, but all those surface streets. But just to get back to that, I was so far back. that I couldn't
159K, yeah.
see any flashing lights. But when I looked on my map, I do
Hopefully we hit
red
160.
for a decent stretch of the freeway, but it didn't.
Some point
seem
we will.
as bad, so I thought I'd get right past it. But then, as soon as I found out that we're talking about a pursuit, the potential kidnapping suspect, I thought, oh boy, this is going to be a long one.
Yeah, this is going to take a long time. And Michelle, being on
Oh,
the
yeah,
ground,
the 60-minute
you
prediction.
have reported on countless of pursuits. It's always just incredible to see these vehicles continue to chug along. We know this suspect has 2 front tires that are down to their rims, but not unusual, is it?
No, not at all. And I was jumping ahead to the point at which where the vehicle stops, and then the officers are trying to get, the suspect to comply. And I thought, wow, how long is that going to take, and how much further will the backup stretch, back into LA County?
Yeah, Michelle Geely, one of the lucky ones tonight, being able to jump on the 22 there before getting stuck in that 405.
Yeah, XP, I feel like it will too.
further.
I think it's going to go
Michelle,
for an
thank
hour.
you so much for
Yes.
calling us. We know you're always on top of it, and it's so
Greg,
good to get your
there's been spike
perspective there,
strips.
especially because you
There
were
might be
stuck in
2
that
people in the
405
car.
for a
I'm
little
not
while there.
sure.
Okay, guys,
But
thank
yeah.
you.
Thank you. We appreciate you.
St. Cloud, welcome.
And as we bring in now retired Police Sergeant Patrick O'Malley back as we continue to keep an eye on this pursuit. This angle, Patrick, we've been talking so far about how...
Okay, we're seeing this side of
you
it
can
now.
Notice both of the front tires.
Yeah, the front
basically
ones
just
are both
riding on the
screwed.
rims. There was something else I wanted to ask you about earlier because...
Back ones look all right,
We've
though.
noticed this vehicle sort of occasionally try
Honk
to
in the
pick
helicopter
up and
fly,
ramp
I'm
up
not
its
sure.
speed
They came
before
from a long way away,
very
too.
quickly slowing back down to what
Took 'em
we're
forever to
noticing
get
But
there.
look, there's the passenger right there. You see?
Okay,
the
there is
seat
another
there,
person in the
almost
car.
I see a
knocking-
passenger.
Somebody
it
said
almost-
that.
It almost
Yep.
looked like they were knocking on the window or at least maybe drawing some attention.
Okay.
But now you can actually make out that there
Okay.
is someone there.
I never saw this
But
person's
then we
head
don't
when we
know
were looking
if
in the
this is
front.
for sure a kidnapping victim, but we do know this is a situation involving a kidnapping.
But ultimately, the point here and the concern, at least from my perspective, Patrick, is the fact that, we've seen other pursuits where a vehicle will lose a tire or they'll be driving on their rims but still try to go at a significantly high speed, and then that's where the friction comes in. That's where the sparks come in, and we know what happens when you have friction like that. It develops a fire, and it could turn into a
Yeah, we
potentially
got the
even more
bingo car, but
disastrous
not much is
situation. So,
happening
on the
in
one end
this
here, at
chase.
least
I don't
it's-
think we're
it's
gonna
positive
get
that it maintains a slow speed because
much
that's
more at
naturally where
all.
my mind starts going to if they even try to attempt to pick up the pace and try to take off here.
Yeah, and it is kind of odd that they're going this slow because with the full air in both rear tires and this rear-wheel drive fast vehicle, he could be going much faster. So
You would
for
think they
whatever
could be going
reason,
much
he's going
faster,
this
but I'm
slow.
not
We
positive.
don't know, but You know, with that, seeing that person.
I mean,
in the
I don't
passenger
know.
seat, I thought I saw someone in there before, but I wasn't sure. But
It's hard to believe
kind
they've
of
just been going
explains,
this slow this long on
the tactics
purpose.
that are being used right now is just give the vehicle distance, let the vehicle ride out. You know, it's just so hard to tell what, you know, how they came across this kidnapping, if the victim called or pushed 911 on their cell phone, or if they tracked the cell phone, or, you know, all the different resources that are available. So
yeah, and not to cut you off here, Patrick, but I do have an answer to that question you were posing there. Our
Yeah,
assignment
Demetri, you're right.
just let me
I mean,
know
they wouldn't
that,
have great control of it.
A call to 911 came in around 6:45 p.m. tonight.
What is parade?
And it was the kidnapping victim's family.
It's when people
that
come out on the
called
street.
911, stating this emergency. We know then that this pursuit started at the 6:05. Again, we don't for sure know if that is the kidnapping victim.
Yeah, they don't know
Believe it
shit. She's
possibly
just speculating.
is, but how much does that then heighten a pursuit, and what moves CHP?
The parade
is
thing
going
is when
to
people
make?
come out on the street. Yeah, parade of people,
Well,
not
it
in their
just
cars,
explains
but
everything
like,
that we've been discussing.
Yeah.
You know, when you look at everything that's been going on, it was kind of easy.
yeah,
to,
E1, I think you're right. Just,
guess,
it's
you know,
that simple.
those were the facts, but
And yeah, the
you know, we don't
passenger
wanna
could just
speculate
get out of the
also.
car while it's
But
moving
you
like
could
this
tell by
and
the
just
way
walk.
The police were treating this. You know, to have a freeway completely closed down with, you know, thousands of vehicles being blocked. CHP is taking their time with this.
Saget said, what music
And
would you be
based
jamming? I
on
don't
that,
know.
Which,
What
if
about
a
you?
family called, this could be some type of domestic kidnapping. So in that situation, then they know the suspect's probably know the suspect's identity. They know his name. Obviously, now we have several cell phones that are in the car also. So, you know, there could be all kinds of communication going on. And if you bring a weapon into play also.
Yeah, I can
you know,
see
that
the
just-
phone now.
It makes it that much more complex. So that's why they're just going to let this ride out. And hopefully, if they're in communication with him, they can convince him to just, you know, turn off the car and step out, and then they can resolve whatever happened from there. Because a lot of times in
Yeah,
you know,
St. Cloud, I would think
domestic
that
situations,
that would happen
it's not
when they
actual
stop,
kidnapping.
because eventually they got to
Sometimes it is,
stop,
you know,
right? And if
sometimes
they
they
don't
went
get out,
willingly
I don't
and they
know.
wanted to change
I
the
don't know what's
story
going to
and,
happen
you know,
once the
because
car
the family
stops.
didn't like the other person, however it plays out. So that's this one. It's unknown, you know, who the two people are and the exact facts.
Hey, Sean,
But
welcome.
That's why the police are treating it this way, and they're just going to let it keep riding out.
Yeah, right now that vehicle is going, you could easily argue, the slowest we've seen this entire, pardon me, this entire last hour or so since we've been keeping an eye on it here.
King Ed, I have no idea.
You almost get a look at the license plate there as well, but, you know,
Like one of those
Welcome.
very distinctive license plates, you know, maybe one of those specialized ones.
Yeah, I think you're right. Though I mean, ultimately, it's
hard to
just
make out.
It is hard to make out, but even
Shit,
more
there's
so the
300
fact that
people on
this
YouTube right
car
now?
is just
Welcome, everyone. What
there's
the
nothing
hell?
you can do in terms of just
Maybe hitting the like button helped. I have
anything
no
other than
idea.
what we've been seeing so far this
No
evening.
idea
And
why.
Now we've been able to make out someone in the passenger seat. You know, the
Yeah,
driver's right
it
there, and
looks-
it's just snailing along.
It looks like that driver there is wearing either glasses or
Yes.
sunglasses.
Notice some sort of it looked like sunglasses, though. Again, hard to tell.
It's been almost an hour since my
minutes ago
stream
when I
started,
first
yeah.
noticed them as well.
It does look like sunglasses there, but you can't really make out the passenger.
Yeah, dogs. I
although
think
we
maybe,
do
but
know
with
there's
the if
someone
this is the
sitting there.
victim in the car, they probably want to be especially
has really
sensitive
just-
with how
it
they
does
stop
really
it,
explain
or
what
if
we
they
have
stop it
seen,
at all.
Patrick.
The
But when
best
you
case
think
scenario is
about
the car
what maybe
stops and
this
just they get
person,
out.
Maybe going through.
Saget said, "Can you set
what a
speed
scary
cruise control at this
situation.
speed?" That's a good
Your
question.
family
Gary,
called
welcome.
911
Could you
on your
put
behalf.
speed control at like
So
5
you
miles
just
an hour?
wonder
Cruise
just
control, I
how
mean.
much danger is that person in?
Yeah, Clear
that's
Joker might be their
exactly it,
kid.
Because if you look at this car also, I don't know, it looked maybe like a Nevada plate.
Be more
so a
if
lot of
your
times,
mods stop banning
rental
people? We
cars
banned
have
people?
out-of-state plates, so, you know, did somebody pick up a
I don't even,
rental
like,
car
really
and
have
the
moderators, do
intentions
I?
of going to kidnap somebody?
Wow.
Those are all things that we will learn.
Oh,
you
it's a
know,
parade.
As the days
Yo,
roll on and the person is
it's
taken
like
into custody. But
All right, we got that one.
yeah,
I did not
mean,
expect that
if
one.
it's 100% legit kidnapping and the family called and
Too
you know,
slow?
the person was armed
Okay.
and took this person against their will, then you know this is a very, very serious situation, and that's why you see so many police officers behind it, and why they just keep letting it roll out. Now you can see all the spectators and everybody else that wants to be a part of it.
Yeah,
as well,
it's a
which
real
brings in
parade too.
other
Look at this.
variables that you got to keep everybody safe, and the last thing you want is spectators or the looky-loos that could be injured.
Well, and this is sort of the
Is the car
irony
stopped?
of a pursuit like this, as it looks like the vehicle.
Yeah, they stopped.
Looks like it's at a complete stop right
Zoom
now.
in.
If not the slowest moving we've ever seen it at this point.
No, you're right.
No.
It's
They
at a
stopped.
complete
It is
stop right
complete
now,
stop
Gio.
right now. So now you see officers exiting their vehicles right now and approaching the situation cautiously. It almost looks, and Leslie, please tell me if it looks like they have weapons drawn.
It does, yeah. They have weapons drawn right now. It looks like maybe they're giving out commands, and that would be the case right now, right, Patrick?
Yeah, so this is the termination point, or hopefully the final termination point, and then this is a felony traffic stop. And so this is how CHP and police officers are trained to conduct felony traffic stops, and this is where
Got the arms out the window.
supervisor on
At least
scene,
one.
They'll have deadly force, they'll have non-lethal force, bean bags and other things like that. They probably have a canine. The police vehicle that is involved in this, I think, is a canine.
Dude,
So that's why he was
it doesn't look like he
there.
threw
And,
the keys out,
Yeah, I
though.
think it is, because you can see it on the side of the door. So then
Car's
that's
still
what
running.
His vehicle is, so they have
Yeah,
the
you see the
dog there
canine.
also. Yeah, so they'll just have everybody set up, and they'll start making
All right,
the
getting
commands
out.
to exit the vehicle. And so far, it looks like the driver has his hands out of the vehicle, so hopefully this will end peacefully.
Yeah,
He's gonna
now
get out.
Open that driver's side door, and it looks like they're going to
Exiting
attempt to get out
slowly.
slowly, but you wonder if that is
Oh, the other door open
passenger-
too.
the passengers opening their door. But if that is the kidnapping victim, police want to make sure both get out safely
And they're-
take one into custody. Take a look. You can see.
Yeah, no one.
We believe maybe the driver.
Yeah, who knows if there was a switch, but it looks like that is the suspect there exiting the vehicle, hands up in the air, and
Yo,
potentially the
Howie,
victim
thank
on
you
the
for
other side
becoming a
there,
YouTube member. Yo, that's
looks like
easy. It's
a
cheap, I
female
think. It's
passenger.
like $2 or
Here's the
something. You can
thing,
do it.
That
Thank you.
suspect is really walking a lot. He's now holding
Oh.
that victim, embracing that
Aw.
victim, hugging. Well, I should take that back. Hugging that woman there, the passenger. We don't.
Yeah, they don't know
yet
if that's a
it is
victim, man.
the
They don't know anything.
Kidnapping victim. But take a look. It looks like they're now talking.
Yeah. And he has his hands up,
The driver
walking
does
backward.
have their hands up.
She's
She's
crying,
wiping her
man.
face right now. It almost seems like the significant emotion in this situation right now. As she backs away from him,
Looks
he
like
is
she's
backing
talking to
up.
someone on the phone as
Yep.
well. That may be law enforcement giving her commands on what to do.
And an end to what has been an incredibly chaotic.
Yeah, I think it's his
situation
girlfriend,
So far, this last
not
hour
a s-
and a
not a
half, but
kidnapping
to
victim.
Patrick's point earlier, that this seems to be the final steps as we put a bow on what's been a very chaotic, crazy situation, a slow speed pursuit. Now finally coming in to an end here on the 405.
Clear Joker, I have no
as the
idea.
Suspect now seemingly stepping back.
Love
getting on the
story. Yeah, I
ground
mean,
and-
you think
and
about it,
looks
dude.
like
This
we
is
have an
pretty
end to,
romantic,
to
right?
this pursuit.
Finally able to get
All right, they
that
got him.
suspect into handcuffs. This is the moment CHP officers have been waiting for almost
Actually, this
2
is a Bonnie
hours
and
now.
Clyde
You
one,
can
too.
see it looks like they're not treating her as a suspect, so I can believe that maybe that is the kidnapping victim there, and you can see she's wiping away some
Still wiping.
tears.
Yeah,
She's
Bonnie and
speaking
Clyde.
to that CHP officer. But wow, Gio, we don't see that
No.
often.
Yo,
where the
Howie,
suspect
yo,
then
thank you.
embraces the other person.
I appreciate
And
you.
police, you can tell, backed off.
I don't know when the
And I'm
notification's going to
guessing
hit, but
that
I
is
see
because,
it.
Patrick, if you're still on the line, maybe officers were giving her commands on the phone. It looked like she was talking to someone on her phone.
Either that or
Yeah.
Go ahead, Patrick.
Appreciate it.
I mean,
$20
played out pretty
don't
much
know.
how
Thank
we
you.
had- how we were saying it. It looks like it was two younger people, and maybe an ex-boyfriend or something like that who showed up, and then, according to the family, forced her into the vehicle to leave. So, as we were talking about communication and other things, it
Howie
looks like
B,
they
yeah.
probably had communication
The
with
goat.
them the entire time. She was probably either talking to the police and her family, or however it played out, and in the end, they were able to convince them just to pull over and give up, and it all ended peacefully.
And it looks like they're still communicating there with her outside of that CHP vehicle. And going back to the earlier point there, because we were filling in some details.
Should do an update stream, man. I don't actually know what happens after. I don't ever. I rarely learn about it. We might learn about it.
Around 6:45.
I'll always post it in the Discord when I do. Yeah, we'll pay out the prediction.
And that evolved into a wild chase that started on the 5605 interchange, went south on the 605 before then shifting over to the 405, and at one point spike strips being deployed, and then at that point we were watching a very slow developing pursuit, a car inching forward, traffic.
Yeah, I'm curious about this one too.
Miles and evolving into a potentially
maybe we'll find out. This is the one that's gotten a lot of attention. It tends to be those ones that I hear something afterwards.
The freeway there. Spectators lining up and taking a look at this.
Very dangerous situation there. Well, we know this
up
is
600
going to
points.
take a while for CHP to move all their vehicles as well as the suspect's vehicle, but you saw it there. One person.
Yeah, there was a follow-up on
the kidnapping victim.
The one where
taken away
they
safely,
shot the guy too. I streamed them. They shot this dude. I think they killed him. But this was
of traffic.
This was several weeks ago, but when we were watching it, we couldn't tell that they shot him. Like, I had no idea. But if you rewatch it, you can tell. But in the moment, we didn't know.
That was a pretty wild pursuit ending here on the 405 South.
And we'll continue to monitor the traffic situation as it evolves through the rest of the night. This is not the last you'll hear of it. We want to thank retired Police Sergeant Patrick O'Malley.
The cops had to have, I guess so, Greg. I don't know what they would do anyway, though. I don't know what the other option is.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, moving on to other news
That's
tonight.
it. All right, everybody. Thank you. Appreciate it. Everybody on YouTube, everybody on Twitch. Howie B, thank you. Quinn B, what's up? We just went through an hour of content. But hey, it was fun. I appreciate it. Happy ending. Even got to see them embrace at the end. 350 watching, only 80 likes. It doesn't matter anymore. Thanks, guys.